What is going on, Niner fans? It is Monday. Kyle Shanahan had his little press conference with the media, and he gave us some updates, and there's a lot to talk about. We always get these injury updates following a game, win or lose. And today there was some news that, some of it was shocking, some of it really wasn't. I mean, the way this season's gone with two more games left in the year, you pretty much expect most of the guys to get shut down, but it kind of gives you a dose of reality because now Niners got to start looking to the future. So, what's up, everybody? How are we feeling? First and foremost, right off the rip, let's get to it. Kind of the big news is Trent Williams. They shut him down for the rest of the season. I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's not surprising. We didn't expect him to play," but it's kind of big. Trent Williams, he got the guaranteed money. He signed a lot, and then he had the injuries this season, and then he had the adversity. He had to deal with. Stillborn child. That's horrible. So I'm sure Trent Williams just head's not in the game. So, of course, nothing to play for. You might as well shut him down. You don't want to risk any more injuries. And who knows where he is mentally. But to me, this is big news. A lot of people are saying it's not surprising that he didn't play. Yeah, for sure. I get that. But I don't know if Trent Williams is going to come back to the NFL. This might be retirement for Trent Williams. Like, I know I'm throwing this out there. I know Trent Williams has said other things over the years. He wants to play. He wants to play into his 40s and show but things change, man. Mentally, I don't know if he's going to be able to come back because he has gone through a lot of adversity. So, and if he doesn't believe this team's going to go compete for a championship or whatever the case is, he may not be back. I don't know. I don't want to throw that out there and say he's going to retire if it's an assumption. But regardless, whether he comes back or not, the Niners have to make sure they solidify this left tackle spot and the O-line in general. So it's tough. It is, we love Trent Williams. He's a great guy. I hope he gets, his mind right and his ankle right and everything. And I know a couple weeks ago, there was a report actually last week. I think Eric Branch, I saw an article he wrote, and he says that Trent Williams is still going around the locker room on a knee scooter. He's not right. His ankle just didn't heal as fast as he thought. So I think Trent may consider, hanging it up. There's nothing left for him to prove. I know he wants a Super Bowl, but does he really think that there's a chance for him to go out there, put his body on the line? And it's tough, man. In every season, he's been missing games as he's gotten older a little bit more and more. So the reality of the situation has to sink in that there may not be Trent Williams back on the Niners next season. You got to have that reality to you. So, I don't know. I kind of feel that he might retire. I know a lot of people probably thinking, oh, no. I saw Lombardi the other day post, he's going to play well into his 40s. But I commented, I was like, you don't know. That was months ago. Like, that was a whole different mindset. I was coming off the Super Bowl. Like, you just don't know, man. He just signed a contract, a couple months ago. So I'm sure he was like gung-ho. Yeah, I love this team. But things change mentally, physically, your life, things happen, and things can change. So Trent Williams not coming back for the rest of the season. Aaron Banks also out for the rest of the season. He has an MCL injury. And Jalen Moore out for the rest of the season with the quad injury. So that's 3 linemen. Jalen Moore, who was filling in for Trent Williams. Okay, Aaron Banks, he was your starting left guard. He gone. And then Spencer Burford, he has a calf injury, and he's going to get an MRI. So you might not have Spencer Burford. Ben Barch is hurt. Trent Williams is gone. Jalen Moore is gone. You can be down to your fourth offensive line or fourth offensive tackle on that left side. This offensive line is going to be so bad against the Lions. I don't think you start Brock Purdy. I think shut it down. Don't start. If this Brock Purdy is your franchise quarterback, you throw him out there with a dog trash offensive line, you are doing yourself no justice. Don't do it. Don't do it. Man, that's tough. So they're going to have backup guard, backup tackle, a backup tackle. It's going to be bad. And he's still got Brendel and Colton McKivitz out there, and Dominic Pooty, who's been the silver lining. So it's tough. They need to get some offensive linemen badly this year. Free agency, center, veteran, starters, whatever you got to do, draft picks. I think you need to go get a top flight left tackle in the draft. I think you need to go get a veteran center. There's a lot of them. I think you need a veteran to be a center on this offense. Like, I don't think you just throw a rookie in there. I don't like Nick Zakelj just thrown in the fire. They never gave him an opportunity. Maybe he could be a backup. but it's going to be interesting competition. So, yeah, we're out Aaron Banks, Jalen Moore, Trent Williams, and maybe Spencer Burford. You want some good news? The good news is Isaac Guerrero might come back this week. He should be back at practice. Now, a lot of people say shut him down. And Patrick Taylor wasn't great. And this is the last couple of games of the season. You need to see what the younger guys have. I think you play Isaac Guerrero, Jacob Cowing, Ricky Pearsall. Let them go out there and showcase themselves, because this is basically an audition for next year, these last 2 games. A lot of players won't be here. Show us what you got, because we got 2 more games. Figure it out. Figure it out, baby. My man DJ says I could play. You might need to. You might need to. So those are big updates. Also, Dre Greenlaw, according to Kyle Shanahan. Let's talk about Dre Greenlaw, because this is kind of a big player too. A big news, big take here is Dre Greenlaw will be possibly shut down for the rest of the season. He had a hell of a comeback. Had some soreness last week. He played this week. They shut him down because he had right calf soreness. They're going to evaluate him. And Kyle said he's going to leave it up to Dre. But most likely he's done. That's sad, man. That's definitely sad. I think you shut down Greenlaw. There's nothing left to play for. You don't want him to risk an injury. But now the big question is, I love Dre Greenlaw, and we all love Dre Greenlaw. Do you sign him at big money? Is he going to be an injury risk? Is he a guy that you feel like if I pay him a lot of money, that he's going to be able to stay healthy on this roster? So he came back. I mean, obviously he'll have another whole off season under his belt to recover. And he should be healthy at that point. But, he tried to come back this year. It just didn't go through. It just little too late. Maybe another off season under his belt will be good for him. But it is a big question if the 49ers are going to pay him or not. Like, this is an actual big situation the 49ers have to figure out. And if you're not, you have to go and get a top flight linebacker, because Greenlaw was definitely missed. We saw when he did come back this year and he played that game against the Rams, how important he was and how big how good the defense was when he was in. So you want to bring him back if you think he's going to be healthy. But if he's not healthy, there's a question of what do you do? If you can't bring back Dre, or you don't think he's going to, if he's going to cost too much or whatever, who do you get? Who's going to replace him in that defense? So it's a big question. I think they should shut him down. Hopefully Greenlaw agrees to that. But again, I think this should be Kyle's decision, and he should say, hey, look, we got to shut you down. We got to be safe here. And I respect that he wants to give Dre the respect and ask him. But, I mean, most players are going to say, hey, I want to play. I want to play. I want to play. So, I don't know. Hopefully Dre Greenlaw shuts it down, because we don't need to risk him getting hurt. And he doesn't want to screw away his money, because if he gets hurt the last 2 games of the season, he might kiss away his money. So it's tough, man. Shut Greenlaw down. Greenlaw will get paid. I hope he does, but at the same thing, at the same time, like, there's a risk you take. There's definitely a risk in there. So how much are they going to pay Dre Greenlaw with that injury risk? They have to really know that he's going to be back and better than ever next year. So tough. Jair Brown is also day-to-day, and D Winters is day-to-day. This whole team is cooked up. So you got a lot of injuries. So D Winters, Jair Brown, Spencer Burford, all those guys probably not going to play. Isaac Guerrero, he's coming back to practice this week. Trent Williams, shutting him down. Dre Greenlaw, most likely shutting him down. The wild season. Definitely should shut these guys down and hope they get better and rest up. Dre Greenlaw, hopefully you shut him down and, he gets a whole offseason to recover, and he's going to come back hungry. We all know Dre Greenlaw is going to want to come back and just prove everybody wrong. But it seems like this whole team is just, someone said the whole team is day-to-day. It really are, man. It's day-to-day, week-to-week, and this is going to be a hell of an offseason. And this offseason is going to start sooner than we thought, right? All of us didn't think that we'd be done in the regular season. January, it's going to be weird. We're usually having meaningful games into the playoffs, deep into the playoffs, NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, at least February. We're talking about football, and now it's going to be over. It's going to be a long offseason. Usually, by the time March rolls around, it's like offseason's been a couple months, but for us, it's like a couple weeks. Here comes free agency, boom, the draft. You snap your fingers, and then boom, here comes the season. This is going to be a little longer, because we got January, the whole month of February, all the way to March. It's going to be a while till we get some good content. So much needed rest. I think it is a good rest for them, big guy. They've been grinding, they've been going through NFC Championship, Super Bowl, like a lot of wins, a lot of games, extended seasons. I think mentally they're fried. I think physically, obviously, they're fried. But these injuries have been piling up. They've been playing guys through injuries. Just not smart. They got to fix that. They got to fix a lot of issues. Obviously, O-line, D-line, get a better medical staff. Kyle Shanahan, man, get some help. Get a better DC. Get a better ST, special teams guy. Get an offensive coordinator. Swallow your pride and get some help, man. Cut some contracts. A lot of these guys are not going to be back. Thanks for keeping it pretty positive, for sure. We got to keep positive, but there's also some realism you have to have. Like, we got to keep it real with ourselves. Like, Jake Moody, it's not the guy. We got to get rid of him. But team has hell of a lot of roster talent still. Like, you still got Kittle, you still got Bosa, you still got Fred Warner. Like, you still have some really good pieces to build around. So it's not like a whole rebuild. It's like a retool. You got to retool this team, but there's still a lot of pieces that are missing on this team. And now the big question that I ask myself is, can they fix it? Can they fix all those holes and, improve this roster enough to make a deep run next year? I think they can in terms of making, the playoffs, because they'll have a last place schedule next year. Schedule should be easy. Now, you still got to play the same division. And this year, all those division games took out the Niners. They could have still lost like the Dolphins and the Vikings and the non-division games. If you would have just beat Seattle, LA, and Arizona, those games made a huge difference. They'd be in first place in this division. So that's what matters. Like, you could still lose these other games. Not all of them, but a few of them, as long as you win the division. And that's what they've been doing. They had won the division by sweeping them over the last couple of years. This year, they almost didn't win a division game at all this year. So they're going to get another good draft class. I hope so. Last year was a pretty good draft class. I mean, if we're being honest, it was pretty solid overall. The 2 years before that, some bad draft classes. So you got to be honest with yourself. No more kickers in the third round. God, no. Should have left Moody in Miami. What do I think about Jake Moody? I think I want him off my team. I just think there's too much pressure on him. There's too much. They put a lot of pressure drafting him. You don't draft a kicker. It was Sebastian Janikowski. I told the story. He said, man, when I was drafted first round kicker, I was like, oh my God, there's so much pressure. You just put unneeded pressure on a kicker. There's a lot already on a guy because they missed the kick and they're going to get roasted. And he knows, especially with social media, the guy looks emotional after every miss. Now, the problem here is I don't think the Niners want to look silly for drafting it, although they already know they do. But they're going to kind of prolong this. I think they're going to bring in a veteran kicker to compete. A veteran will probably win, and then they can cut their ties. So I think they're going to play it like that because they still don't want to look like they took the biggest L in the world, which they did. But they're going to play it a certain way. I think they'll keep him around and have a guy compete. They need a veteran. But look at the guys they brought in. They brought in 2 kickers. They were fine. Shit, Jake Moody's not it. It's unfortunate. And I know I saw some people say, oh, you can't give up on him yet. You absolutely can. It didn't work. He was not it. They had back-to-back draft picks. Jake Moody and Cameron Latu. What a horrible draft. Absolutely terrible. Niners need to fix. They need to make sure they draft good. They need to make sure they draft good this year because they're going to lose a lot of players. And if they're going to pay Brock, you need to make sure you have some really good young players. So, yeah, stop drafting kickers. Absolutely. He wanted him, and now looks foolish. Yeah, you remember the draft video where he goes, don't. Oh, man, he was like, yeah, I can't believe we drafted a kicker. Everybody thought I was drafting a running back. I'm trying to warn him. He says, don't sell me. Totally sold him. Sold him. Third-round picks haven't gone well for the 49ers. My man says throwback. Ambry Thomas, Cam Latu, Jake Moody. Yeah, I mean, there's a few that were good. Fred Warner. But for the most part, third round in the Niners, it's not good. O-line is on your Xmas wish, says Harry. Niners fan. I think so. My man, SOC Shiesty says, you think we make it into the playoffs? Bro, we got eliminated yesterday. Where you been? Do you sleep yesterday? The Niners are eliminated. They're gone. No playoffs. Unless you're playing Madden. Unless you're dreaming. There's not. I'm gonna tell you right now, 100%. I'm gonna bet you. I shouldn't have told you. I bet you $1 million. I bet you $1 million. Niners are not making the playoffs. Kelly, you want to bet? Ain't making it. Let's bet. Let's bet. I bet you not $1 million. Niners won't make playoffs this year. Call me unfaithful. Call me unfaithful. Niners aren't making it. Play. Crazy. Yo, that's funny. That's funny. We talk about play. Oh yeah. Do I think that we have a chance of getting Travis Hunter? Possibly, if they want to trade up, but I don't think they're gonna value Travis Hunter I mean, he's a great athlete. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's gonna be good. But I think the Niners need to focus. Don't look at anything else except offensive line. It would be a travesty to look at any other position for those first two picks. You got to solidify the trenches. Maybe an edge rusher and then go O-line second round. But I love Travis Hunter. I think he's a great player. Genty, there's a lot of good, talented players on this team. But the Niners focus on the offensive line. If they sell the O-line again, it's over. It doesn't matter how much you pay Brock. It doesn't matter all these players. If you can't protect your quarterback, you are absolutely cooked, especially with Trent Williams news. I think he's going to retire, right? Like I said, if you don't do yourself a favor and draft an offensive line, you are definitely not making the playoffs next year. DT is needed as well. Absolutely. I agree. O-line, D-line, definitely need those two positions. Solidify the trenches. Do I think drafting Ricky P in the first round was I mean, in the terms of did they need a wide receiver at the position? No, you should have got an O-line or a D-lineman because we saw this year D-line was not it. Edge rusher, Nick Bosa didn't have much help, and then he got hurt. I think D-line or O-line would have been better. Those are stud positions. You need studs. You can get them in the first round. I mean, and not that I'm not saying wide receivers aren't, needed in the first round, but I think Ricky Prasad was like a third-round receiver, and you kind of reach for him. Love the guy. I think they were probably going to trade a receiver. It just didn't happen. There was a lot of rumors last year that they wanted to get, a trade for Ayuk or Deebo Samuel or. So that didn't work out. So they're panicking, I think. And they were like, oh, shit, we're going to take this guy just in case we do a big trade. Didn't happen. Ricky's a great guy. Story's amazing. A lot of adversity. But looking back, yeah, they should have drafted a different position. Even a quarterback. I thought they were going to draft Cooper DeJean, whatever you want to call him. But I love Ricky. I think he's a cool guy, but didn't need the pick. He didn't need the pick. Should have been a different position. So. Rumors we go after Shiloh Sanders. I don't think he's that good of a player. He got cooked a lot. He missed a lot of tackles. Shedeur was good. Travis Hunter's good, but Shiloh, he's mid. If they draft him in the first two rounds, I'm gonna be sick. Do I think we get Robert Salah back? Yeah, fifth round for Shiloh for sure. Yeah. Salah would be great, man. I would love to see him come back. He can really reinvent himself, prove to these teams he's a great coach. He can help refix his defense because he knows it. I think it'd be good, but I don't know if he wants to come back. I don't know if there's any incentive for him to come back. You know what I mean? Why would he come back? That's my only question is what would be his reason to come all the way back to the Niners? The place where he started as coordinator and got his big shot. I mean, maybe he would want to, but I just don't understand why he wouldn't want to come back when he can go to other places and kind of showcase himself again. And just, he's got to earn himself. He's got to prove himself again, no matter where he goes as a good coordinator, so he can get a head coaching job again. But yeah, absolutely would love Robert Salah. Are you kidding me? His energy is amazing. He can get this defense back to where it was. He's a good defensive coach for sure. My man 49 Throwback says, thank God Aaron Banks is a free agent. Dude should not be on this team anymore. I agree, man. Get him out. Get a good offensive guard. They drafted him in the second round. He was kind of up and down. First year, second year, he looked like he was making some progress here and there. And the last year was wow, played next to Trent. And then this year, contract year, he's too banged up. Didn't look great. I agree with you, man. Upgrade that offensive line spot at every position except that right guard. Go get a real right tackle. You can make Colton McKivitz your swing tackle. Go, Pooney's great. Go get an actual center. I don't think Dan Kilgore is an actual center. Left guard, upgrade that position. Don't pay Aaron Banks. You're going to pay him a lot of money for a guy that you could probably get an upgrade on. And figure out what you can do with that left tackle spot. Because if Trent Williams is gone, you are cooked. You're not going to have a great year. I don't care who your quarterback is. You got a bad O-line, you're done. So you think tackle O-line through the draft with the young stud or free agency? I think tackle, you can get a star tackle in the draft. Like there's so much talent in the draft in terms of offensive line review. Go get a star tackle because you'll save money too, because you're going to need to be very you're going to have to do this very cost effective, right? You're going to have to be very strategic. Go get a draft, go draft a star left tackle. You can, in the free agency, go get a center, like a really good center, because you kind of need a guy that's veteran to play that center spot. It's hard to just be a rookie to get thrown into the fire in the system. Go get a stud left tackle in the draft. Go get a star center in free agency. You can probably draft a guard if you know how to develop those guys in draft and look for talent. You could probably get a really good guard in the draft, unless you see someone in free agency and you're like, oh, wow, we have to go get him. But I would draft a left tackle, draft a guard because it'll be cheaper, and then go get a star center in free agency. And then right tackle, you could probably get a free agent. That's going to be better than Colton McKivitz. I mean, I could probably scroll through the comments here. Mike 49SF probably can play right tackle over Colton McKivitz is what I'm saying. So that's what I'm doing. Go get some draft capital, use it on O-line, and spend your free agency money on offensive line. That's what you do. A little bit of both. Some proven guys. You need some vets and get some studs up and coming. You need some youth because you got to save money too. So it's weird talking about free agency and draft right now. I know. Usually we're talking about playoffs. It's weird. It's weird. My man says, sounds like you make an excuse. Why can't they win? Lions don't make any excuses because they always win. Lions have been good for 2 years, my guy. The Lions have been a poverty franchise for decades. Yeah, they're winning right now, and good for them. So good for them. But let's not sit here and act like the Lions were dog trash, bottom of the barrel for years. Okay, cool that they're winning. That's great for them. That's fucking amazing for them. But listen, the Niners, there's reasons why they are losing. It's not an excuse. It's the fact of the matter is their team has poor O-line. Their team has injuries. Their team has poor coaching. Their team has poor special teams. There's a lot of reasons. Poor defensive line. The Lions had those issues for decades. Now they're just figuring it out. So kudos to them for finally figuring it out. They haven't even been to a Super Bowl. My man says if Dan Campbell wins a Super Bowl before the 49ers, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it too. Mentally beat, I agree. I think the Lions are, my man Throwback says, Lions are going to come to Levi Stadium with the revenge. Absolutely. I agree. Lions are a good team this year. They did a great job building that roster. You can't deny it. They got 18, 20 injuries, and they're winning. I mean, no disrespect, but we can't sit here and act like they've been a great team for years. So that's all I'm saying. But yeah, Lions are a good team. Probably top of the NFC. Although I don't see them going to Super Bowl because I think Dan Campbell's going to sell them. I think he's going to make some silly move that gets him that loses in the playoffs. Should the 49ers lose the rest games and get a top 10 pick? I think they're going to. I don't even think they're going to have to try to lose these last 2 games. Lions definitely going to cook them, and I think they should if they got a chance to lose that Arizona game, because I think you need to get the best left tackle available. Go get a top 10 pick, man. It's not that hard. Go ahead and get yourself a top 10 pick. How does Brian Schneider still have a job? Woo! I think he's definitely one of the guys that's going to be like, I see a lot of changes this offseason. It's going to be one of those weird, look, not weird. It's going to be one of those very busy off seasons. And I think there's going to be a lot of changes. I think personnel, coaching personnel, I think player personnel is going to be changed. And I think Brian Schneider is going to be one of those first guys. I think, and we can start thinking about this in January. Like, I very much think, while everybody else is watching the playoffs, we're going to be like, boom, breaking news. Schneider has been fired. Boom, breaking news. The 49ers are moving away with, special teams coordinator. I really see that happening. And then they're going to have to do a long search and figure that out, because special teams has been abysmal. No matter what, no matter if Kyle likes the guy, he's got to make a change, man, because he's making Kyle look silly out there by every single week selling the games. Special teams coordinator, that's who he is. It's bad, man. O-line is bad, yeah, for sure. Offensive coordinator, yeah, I think Kyle could definitely benefit from an offensive coordinator, but I mean, he's a stubborn guy. Knowing Kyle, he'll draft a long snapper this draft. Someone said today, they said he'll probably draft a kicker first round. Can you imagine? Bro, oh my God. Kyle making Kyle look silly. That's probably true. That's probably a fair assessment. Do I think the Rams win a playoff game? I can see them winning a playoff game. It really depends on the matchups, but I can see them winning a game. Rams are sneaky, man. Like Matt Stafford, good dude when he has time to throw. They have two good receivers, Puka and Kupp. They got Kyron Williams. Got some good young defensive players. Verse. I hate it, but they're a sneaky good team. They've been winning games. They've been rattling out games. They sometimes don't win them pretty, but they win them. And McVay, as much as I hate that guy, 7 winning seasons out of 8 years. And he has a Super Bowl. They know, I think McVay knows how to get it done when it matters. He's won a Super Bowl. I can see the Rams winning the game in the playoffs. I hope they don't, but I can see it happening. Rams could beat the Packers and Vikings. I think they could beat those two teams for sure. Vikings are good though, got a good defense. Packers look good. They've, kind of an underrated team, but they're both beatable. Debo's eating little Debo's fruit snack. Oh man. No comment on that. That's funny. That's wild. What do you guys think the Niners should do in the offseason? What are your guys' offseason desires? What do you guys think? I mean, obviously everybody wants an O-line, right? What else? Vikings been frauds. They got a good defense. As long as they have a good defense, they'll be able to compete in all these playoff games. But yeah, it's going to be up to Sam Darnold. New defensive coordinator. Defoe back. Ooh, DeForest Buckner. Ooh, I think Richard Sherman said he would love to see the Niners trade for DeForest Buckner. Interior D-line. Yeah, I agree with that one. Get an O-line. I think that's the consensus. Yeah, what do I want? I want an O-line, man. Just give me a good O-line. Fire Nick Sorensen. Yeah. Pay Dre and Hufanga. You guys want Hufanga back? How much? 1 year, 2 year, prove it deal. Can't break the bank on him. He has had injuries. So that's the thing with Hufanga and Dre. I think we like them. We love them. They got great, history with the Niners. They're good veterans, but you can't break the bank on. You can't overpay them, man. You just can't overpay them because they do have a lot of injury history. So, offensive coordinator, prove it deal. Cut Hargrave. Yeah, I think Hargrave is for sure gone. If they don't cut Hargrave, I will be surprised. June 1st, if Javon Hargrave's on the team on June 2nd or June 3rd, I'm be shook. What happens when you didn't pay Aziz? They didn't expect Dre Greenlaw to get injured. I think Aziz definitely would have been on the roster if they didn't think Dre Greenlaw was going to stay healthy, right? And so they chose Greenlaw, who they paid the year before. And then they said, okay, Aziz, you get a chance to go be a star of your own team, which, of course, he's going to go to D'Amico. That was his guy. And he wanted to be that Mike linebacker, the main guy. And you're never going to be that guy when you have Fred Warner. So they had Fred and Dre, and it worked out. And then, unfortunately, Dre got hurt. So I think hindsight's 2020 on that one. I think we all would have loved to keep Aziz. We love the guy, but one of them had to go. You already had paid Dre. You already had paid Fred. You know, you had other guys that you had to come up and pay over the years. So they had to make those business decisions. And that's usually what the Niners have to do is make business decisions. Sometimes to make the right one, sometimes to make the wrong one. So, yeah, a better physical coach. I agree. I think they definitely need to get better trainers. Bold prediction, the 49ers won't bring back Devondre Campbell. It's a hot take. Got it. Can you imagine if he ever came back? He's a douche. Oh, man. Keep CMC. Yeah, I mean, CMC's got, I think he's going to really work his tail off this offseason to get himself better, and hopefully he can stay healthy. But the Niners definitely need to make sure they get some good running back depth. Jordan Mason's a restricted free agent. He'll probably be back. And then you have Isaac Orendo, who's really good, but he's got to stay healthy. You know, it's hard to stay healthy in this offensive system. Orendo, Mason both got hurt. CMC obviously got hurt. So those are your three guys. They'll be back next year, but I think you still need another running back. Scatterbo from Arizona State. A lot of people think the Niners will get him. I'm down for that. Trade Patrick Taylor. He's got no value. Who's taking Patrick Taylor? Release Brandon Allen. I'm pretty sure they will. Todd Bowles for DC. Interesting. Oh, I can see that. Would he get along with Kyle? That's the question. I think Kyle has to really respect the guy. I don't know if I could see him and Kyle meshing. But a guy like Bowles is good. You need a guy that's been in the league for a long time, established, veteran. I like that. I like that move. Like in terms of getting a guy that's established. You know, I like a Mike Vrabel, but last year I really wanted who's the Eagles DC? Vic Fangio. I really wanted to get Vic Fangio, but Kyle didn't want to change the scheme. And look how that went. So yeah, if Kyle, he just needs to change things up, man. Reinvent this team because you keep doing the same thing over and over and over. Eventually, people are gonna figure it out. So change some things up. Go get a defense coordinator that's gonna change it up. Maybe I would have loved to get Vic Fangio. Look at that Eagles defense. Eagles defense is unbelievable this year. AJ says definitely. I want Kyle to admit that he needs help and get an offensive coordinator. I agree, man. Get some help, man. You just got a lot of pressure on you. And it's evident that you're having trouble out there, struggling as much. Even you could be the biggest Kyle fan in the world and understand that he still is struggling out there. He's struggling. He's not as creative as he was. The O-line is absolutely abysmal. And it's not going to make your life any easier. Fix that. Be more creative. Get some help. They need to retool this offense. You know, you got some pieces. Get some more. O-line. John Lynch needs to stand up to Kyle, says Alfredo. That's the problem. And I talked about this with someone the other day. It's so funny you said that. Because, like, Kyle was hired first. He's kind of got the power in the relationship, right? He's kind of like the guy makes a lot of the decisions. I know they bounce ideas off of each other, but Kyle was the guy that kind of picked his GM. It's usually the other way around, right? Kyle was the guy, and then boom, John Lynch comes in. And John Lynch, I feel like he sometimes defers to Kyle. Like, you know, so I kind of agree with that statement. Like, I wish John would have a little bit more power. Maybe they could make him like an expanded role to have a little bit more and have a little bit more say and power in the situation. But it's weird. Like, this is the thing. If Kyle was go on another team, which I know everybody says, okay, you fire Kyle, he'd be hired immediately. Absolutely. Of course he would. But would another team give him as much power? Another GM may not give him that many options of what he can control. Maybe another team say, okay, you're the head coach. That's your job. Coach the team. Would he get as much power on another team? Like, yeah, I know he'd get hired. Everybody says, oh, you fire Kyle. He'd go to another team. I'm not arguing that. Would he have as much power on another team? I don't know. It's a good question. It's good food for thought. Can't fire him. He won't get fired this year. obviously the injuries contributed to the season. So I think that's definitely going to help out Kyle for sticking around and, showing, hey, man, you were hurt this year. Fix this team. Get it right. Last year's water under the bridge. So they're not going to get rid of Kyle unless they want to trade him. I don't think that's going to happen. Will Kyle Shanahan reinvent himself? That's what he needs. He needs to just clean slate himself. Let's see. My man Throwback says, if we don't make any major changes, I don't see how we win games. O-line matters. Yeah, definitely. I think that's the big consensus is we all know this team needs to make change. They can't continue to play the same way they're doing and expect to win. 100%. No, agree. As much as we mad at Debo, he ain't getting traded. I don't know about that one. I wouldn't be surprised if they've tried to trade him a couple years now. I'm just going to say anything can happen this offseason. We never thought Buckner would get traded. We never thought they'd trade up to get the third pick. Niners do a lot of crazy things sometimes. So hold on to your seats. I don't think we can predict this offseason at all. Just wait. Sleeve says the front office moves this offseason will determine the next 10 years, at least the next 5 years. This is a very critical offseason, and it's going to determine a lot of the upcoming seasons. You're right. Eric says, I feel like Debo doesn't care what happens. I think he cares to an extent, but I think bottom line, as long as he's getting paid, he'll be happy. So he's going to ball out these last few games if he's playing, and he's going to put some good film on tape. So people's last impression of him of the season is, oh, he played good. They're not going to remember all the bad stuff, hopefully in his mind. So I think he'll put some good film out there, show the Niners I still got it, show some other teams I still got it if they want to trade him. So we'll see. I could see Debo getting traded to the Miami Dolphins. If he does get traded, I think Miami would take him. Mike McDaniel knows how to use him in the system. Mike would fit him right in. Do I think Debo's gone after the season? I definitely think probably more than most people that he could be gone this season. He gone. I could see it. They drafted 2 wide receivers last year. They're going to want an opportunity. Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowling. Do you give them that chance? Juwan Jennings proved that he's a dog. That's three guys. You got 2 young guys. You got Juwan Jennings. You still got Kittle, who's Hall of Famer. He's still probably got 2 good years left in him. And then Brandon Ayuk, will he be back next season? That's the only thing that makes me question that they moved Debo, because Brandon Ayuk's such a big question mark. And we don't even know if he's going to come back next season until maybe week 10, week 12. Who knows? And same thing, like look at Greenlaw this season. He came back. He just wasn't right. Brandon Ayuk, he comes back. Is he going to be the same? Is he even going to be able to step on the field? Will he re-aggravate his injury? It's a tough injury. ACL, MCL, meniscus. So they might need to keep Debo for that simple reason. So my man Lion Central said, we're going to make Debo get traded next week. We'll see about that, my boy. Who we taking with the 10th pick? Whoever is the best available left tackle. Take him. Best tackle available. Ayuk is going to be a loss. Yeah, that's rough, man. That was rough. That was a tough signing because now you pretty much wasted 2 years with them. Debo's value? What is his value? I'd say a 3rd-round pick at this point. I think teams would still value him at a 3rd round. He still, again, if he could prove himself over these last couple of weeks, which last night was great, he could prove that he still has a little juice left in him. Teams will think that, oh yeah, he's still a good playmaker. I think 3rd-round pick is probably what he would fetch in the open market at this point. Are we winning any more games? No. Abel says, does Greenlaw Hufanga come back? We asked this question a couple of minutes ago. I think it's 50-50. I think Greenlaw has a chance of coming back. I think Hufanga has a chance, but it's probably not going to be for as much money as they wanted because of the injuries. I think they'll try to keep them because they're veterans, but if they were not to come back, I wouldn't be surprised. I guess I'll put it that way. I mean, I could see them coming back. But, I mean, I know Greenlaw is a guy they really want. They said they want him. Lynch said he wanted him. But I think a lot of it at this point is just going to be an evaluation of, do they feel like it's worth it? Do they feel like his injury risk is sustainable for this team? Do they feel like either of those guys can be upgraded? Do they feel like those guys are going to be able to play through the season next year? And it's going to be, you pay those guys a lot of money, you can probably find someone that's cheaper. So those are definitely two guys that could not be back, but I think they will. If I had to get in my head and give you a prediction, I think they'll be back. So. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost done here. Let's recap real quick. So again, just to kind of go over the news today, Trent Williams, done for the rest of the season. Aaron Banks, done for the rest of the season. Jalen Moore, done for the rest of the season. Dre Greenlaw, most likely done for the rest of the season. Kyle Shanahan said he's going to leave it up to Dre. Jair Brown, day-to-day. D. Winters, day-to-day. Spencer Burford, getting an MRI, day-to-day. And Isaac Garendo, he'll be back practicing on Thursday. It's your injury roundup. Tough season. I love y'all. You have a good night. Probably won't be live with Larry tomorrow. It's Christmas Eve. He texted me. They got, family plans. So I probably won't be live tomorrow. You guys have a good one. I probably won't be live on Christmas. I'll be at the Warriors game watching them take on the Lakers. And I'll be back Thursday. Y'all have a blessed rest of your day. I will be live tonight on another channel. So we'll probably have to post that up here in a minute. But I'll see you guys one more time tonight. And after that, take care. Love y'all. Go Niners.